Hello and welcome back to my channel. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I'm just going to try and stop. What accent was that anyway? I have no idea. If you've made it to this video, you have probably seen my intro video. If you haven't watched that video, then please do go check it out. I will hopefully put it in the description box somewhere down there, I think. And it just explains a little bit about why I'm starting YouTube. I might end up doing more vlogging, or I might do more sit down or whatever. I don't know yet. But what I do know is I do want to get started on the right foot. Obviously I want to be an example to people and lead people where I can, but what I don't want to do is to do that with any fakeness or falseness. So what I'm gonna do in this video is tell a little bit of my story about me, even until this point, literally right now, struggling to accept who I am and who God has made me to be. I'm going to do that while removing my makeup, and you'll see why and understand why as I go along. It's important that I do this for my sake and for other people's sake. If there's even just one person who's gonna watch this and feel some sort of permission or release into being who they are and who God's made them, then it's worth it. It's totally worth it. So what I needed to get started is some trusty micellar water, and I have 2 cotton pads. I really need to get some reusable ones of these because gotta save the environment. And also, I mean, this as well, plastic bottle. If anyone knows of any really good eco-friendly solutions to removing your makeup that won't ruin a sensitive skin type, let me know, please. Oh, gotta get some hair slides. So for those that have been following me for a while, and especially those that follow me on social media, you may have seen on a couple of occasions me speak about this. I don't know if you can actually see, I have a little birthmark under my eye, just here. And this thing, honestly, has ruled my life for the majority of my teenage years and early adulthood. And I'm only 24, but honestly, this hasn't robbed my joy. People's opinions of me have robbed my joy. I'm just gonna clip my hair back. So, as you all know by the term birthmark, I was born with this, and up until, well, I mean, I was always aware of it, but as a 7-year-old, you're not really too concerned when you're looking in the mirror. So slowly I began to be a bit more self-conscious. You're trying to figure out what it means to be a woman, whilst also still going through the crippling agony that is puberty. I had a friendship of someone who was actually younger than me, who I constantly felt compared to, and she was this beautiful girl. She had everything that I wanted growing up, and it wasn't until we were in youth group together at our church that I became probably a little bit more aware of myself and aware of other people's opinions of me and where they ranked me. I had a few people make just subtle jokes, and people that were good friends of mine, just making little teasy remarks which have been apologised for now. But at the time, I think you're just totally not aware of what you're saying and the effect of your words on other people. And I had someone say, or I had a few people actually say, "Oh, Kez, I think you've got something on your face, got a bit of poo in your face." They cut deep. And there was one occasion, I'm gonna start taking my makeup. I realised I'm not very good at multitasking, by the way. On one occasion, I was at youth group, and I think I must have been maybe about I think I was 14 at the time. I asked this guy, I said, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should cover up my birthmark. I don't even know if I explained to him why. I think I just might have even said that. And he just goes, "Yeah, I think you should." And literally from that day on, I would get the concealer and lay it on thick. And people noticed. There we go. There's the birthmark. But from that moment on, I became petrified that people would find out, that people would see it. I would not let myself feel many emotions in fear that I would cry it off. And that became quite hard because I started getting picked on in my youth group and ended up getting quite depressed too. I went through all that time just completely covered up, and eventually I started being aware that guys started fancying me and stuff. As flattered as I was just like, no, they don't. If they really knew what I looked like, they wouldn't fancy me. And I felt like a fraud. Like I just was so unhappy with who I was. I thought that covering up would liberate me, and I guess it did. It gave me a false sense of confidence, but a confidence in a person that I really wasn't. Eventually I did a gap year. It was a leadership gap year with the church, and on this gap year I honestly can't even emphasize enough how incredible some of these people were that I met. For the first time in my life, I realised what friendship was. It wasn't this shallow, superficial thing. It was depth. It was people coming together and being real with each other, supporting each other at their lowest, people coming with deep shame about who they are or their past. There was just so much love, so much acceptance. And so for the first time I start questioning, is this a safe place to be me? And I can honestly tell you that that was a question I asked myself every day, and for every day the answer was no. I pray constantly, literally every time I looked in the mirror, God, please can I wake up tomorrow and just not care anymore, just be totally happy to be me. And that feeling never came. It honestly never came. And it was only, I think it might have been the first day back after Christmas, and there was a party where we were all gathering together just to catch up and hang out. Me and my 3 other female housemates were all doing our makeup and getting ourselves dolled up, and I just looked in the mirror. I remember looking in the mirror just going, I can't be arsed. Like, it was almost like this scream inside me, like, like I can't do this anymore. I can't do this to myself. I can't be bothered. Change happens when the fear of things staying the same becomes greater than the fear of the change itself. And that happened. I got to that point where I wasn't ready. I didn't feel ready and comfortable and totally carefree, but I got to the point where things just could not stay the same. I knew for years that I wanted to be someone who would encourage others, and I wanted to see people living freely, and I was doing that. I was encouraging others to live freely, but I was not doing it myself. So thank you, Jesus, for these girls that I lived with. They encouraged me and made me feel like I could be me. So I incredibly and comfortably went out with well, I think I wore makeup, but not wearing it for the wrong reasons. So we went to this house, and I had people notice and people ask questions, and I had a few friends, one who's still a good friend of mine, say like, oh, what's that? You got something under your eye? And just those painful words of saying, it's my birthmark. I said it and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I wasn't met with, oh, okay, oh yeah, I see why you're hiding it. I wasn't met with that. People didn't care. Like, no one gave a crap that I had it. What people cared about is that I was okay and that I was able to be me. I can't tell you how free I felt from that moment on. Like, I felt so released. It wasn't until I met my current husband, Chris. You met this person and you want to spend your life with this person. You're falling in love. You're sharing everything about yourself with this person. I did tell him, I was like, just so you know, just prepare yourself. I do have a birthmark. I'm just not prepared to show you right now. And I mean, Chris, anyone who knows Chris well knows he is just an incredible guy. So of course he was perfectly fine with that, accepting of me, loving of me, caring of me, but still I battled with this. And again, I wouldn't let myself be vulnerable with him, because I knew that if I was vulnerable with him, I would probably cry eventually, and if I cried, then my makeup would come off and he'd see me for who I really was and he'd reject me. I feared part of that rejection would be not fancying me anymore, and then also I thought part of that rejection would be him thinking that I'd lied to him. And of course, those are just irrational fears in my head, but these things became just so mammoth, so gigantic and overwhelming. Like I said, I got 2 years down the line and I'd cried in front of him. I've been vulnerable with him as much as I could, but I just knew that I just had to do this thing. I had to reveal all myself to him. That point came, actually, we were at my parents' house, and I was actually in contact with a tattoo artist who I was asking whether it be possible if they could tattoo over my birthmark with some sort of tone that matched my skin, just so it's like a permanent cover-up that wouldn't cause, you know, scarring, because I've also looked at having it laser removed, which, being so close to my eye, no one was really too keen on doing. No option fitted, and they weren't too happy with doing the tattoo because I think they said something about, you know, if I tanned then it's gonna show. I mean, look at me, look how pale I am. I do not tan. Like, I just get burnt and freckly, to be honest. So I was laying in bed, I got this email through. I got to that point again, it's that point where I didn't feel ready. I've never felt ready for anything in my life, but it got to that point where that shift happened between fear of things staying the same and fear of things changing. I decided to post on Facebook about this again, and to be honest, and I cried and I cried and I cried. I think I did my makeup and I didn't fully cover it, but I think I just got a little bit ready for the day. I went and I woke up Chris, sat at his bed, and I just said, I posted something on Facebook, I don't think you're gonna love me anymore. I mean, I should have known, because I was in love with, and I'm in love with this incredible, gracious, kind, and just incredible guy. And he was just, he didn't even care, he didn't care. He was like, oh, he was glad that I had done it, but he was more concerned with the fact that I was so traumatized of what I'd done to myself. He was just caring about that. And there are gonna be people who will come at you who will not be okay with you being who you are. People who probably look at me and go, oh, cares without me, go, gross. We all have something, whether it's externally, whether it's internally, we all have something that we've probably allowed to get to us, that we have allowed to define us, we've allowed to control us, and we have to let that go for the sake of our freedom, for the sake of being able to do all that we are meant to do, all that we want to do. We have to let that go. Nothing grows inside the comfort zone. As you begin to step out of your comfort zone grows in a sense that you become more comfortable with a lot of scarier things. In those months after telling my friends on that gap year that I had my birthmark and this was who I was, I've honestly never been so free and confident and able to just do what I know I'm meant to do than I have in the rest of my life, even since. We all need to just be a little bit braver. We're in a world where we are being constantly told who we're meant to be. It's okay to not fit in that. It's okay to not be that. So yeah. This is me with a nice juicy spot as well to match with the birthmark. Can't wait. So I'm gonna now go try and edit this very blah 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 video where I don't know what's going on, how my story is flowing. I probably need to get a little bit better at storytelling skills, but I'll learn along the way. Thank you for watching my video. I'll be posting more soon. I hope this has helped someone, and if anything, if it hasn't helped someone, it's helped me, so great. See you in my next video. Have a wonderful life until then, and forever, not even just until then. Have a great life. Bye.